Kenyan international comedian Vincent Tshaka, all the way in Melbourne, Australia. You went to Western University in Canada.
I did, man.
What the fuck were you doing in Western?
Look, I'm trying to conquer the white world bit by bit, right? It's just I went to Western because I was on exchange. So I went for my undergrad was in sports and recreation management, and so I had the opportunity to go to Western and study kinesiology, and I took the opportunity. And I have family in Canada as well, so it's just like killing like many birds with one stone. So yeah, and then living in Australia, I've been doing this for the last 22 years. Living over here is pretty good. I love it. Started my comedy career here. Yeah, good times, man.
Yeah, you did kinesiology. We actually both did kinesiology as well in school. Yeah, in undergrad. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one? You found comedy and that was it.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That's how I started comedy, actually.
Yeah.
After first year, I dropped out of kinesiology at U of T, and I went into comedy because I wasn't gonna do something I was gonna be miserable doing the rest of my life. I already knew that the time.
You didn't like it?
It was okay. It was fine. It's just I just didn't. I knew I wasn't gonna finish it. There's no way. I'm not just wasting 3 more years of something I'm not fully invested in. I'd rather just take the risk right now while I'm still young, and I was only 19, 20.
Yeah.
So I can do comedy. And
how did your parents take it?
Well, it's funny. I don't think I've ever actually talked about this on this podcast, but surprisingly, it was better than I thought. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't tell them I was going to drop out until after I dropped out.
Yeah.
And then that week or that day or a couple of days after, I went home. And the funny part is it actually worked perfectly because my brother was also changing paths from kinesiology into going into culinary. Okay. And he's culinary trained at this point. Like for 2 years went to this George Brown or some shit.
Yeah.
And at that same time, that's when I dropped out. Okay. And then I was like, how am I going to tell my parents? But then I took that as an in because he was the one who brought it up about his shit first.
I'm changing my shit.
Sorry?
I'm changing what I'm doing.
Exactly. I was like, okay, well then if he's going to, I'm for sure doing it, right? So then when he went and told them, I was like, yo, I got some shit too. I got to tell you.
On that note, but it's changed. I'm just out.
I'm also going to be going to culinary school because I want to eat food.
Yeah.
But no,
I'm going to cook some jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, he told them, and then I took that opportunity, and they were, obviously not supportive of him. Yeah. But they're just like, okay, like, are you sure? Just typical.
They were not supportive of him changing.
No. They weren't not supportive. Like they were. Yeah. Like it's just they weren't like. They just more so were confused or curious as to why and what the plan is. Just any immigrant parents probably they want to know what the fuck you're thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Yeah.
Generally, I feel like some of them are more strict than others, but our parents luckily are more fair, and they just want us to do things that makes us happy, and as long as we're doing something. Yeah, that can make us money and so we can survive. Yeah. That's all they really care about. So anyway, when he did that, I went in. I was like, by the way, like I just dropped out of U of T, like the best school for kinesiology in Canada. Yeah. I'm just gonna do comedy. And then they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I guess that's where your joke comes from.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. The joke I'm working on right now. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And it's so true. But literally, when I first started. When I told him that, my dad was like, okay, like, what do you mean? Like, I was like, yeah, like I found this program. I already did the research. Like I was like, I'm going into this other program that's for comedy. It's a 2-year program. It's a legit it's the only comedy program in Canada.
Did you actually study comedy?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I feel like
college.
I feel like in Australia there isn't anything like that.
No, they're fucking behind on everything.
Yeah, you get people that would do writing courses, which makes them better writers and stuff, but there isn't. I mean, you get other comedians that have started their schools, like comedy schools, and there's comedy courses and stuff like that. But there isn't anything per se geared towards someone who wants to do comedy and they go and learn it and, get... And I love that about North America because even when I was in... Edmonton, because I did a lot of gigs in Edmonton and stuff like that, is... I would find out after gigs, like the comedians would get together, they'd go do poker nights, but at the same time help each other write jokes. So it's like, oh, what are you working on? Or that bit you say tonight, you could make it better like that. And so the collaboration was really beautiful to see, which you don't really find over here, which is crazy. But I didn't know there was like a course for, like at least you said you're going to do another course, That's great.
Yeah, there is. There's it's at Humber College. It's in Toronto. And they literally teach about everything. It's like stand-up comedy, acting, physical comedy, improv, sketch writing, TV writing, script writing, everything, all that stuff.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I could do that. I'm doing my master's now. I'm finishing my master's in sports business, but that is definitely a course I'd probably get into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like get the tools, even after doing comedy this long, but you never stop learning, right?
Well, that's the thing. Because I was so new, I had an open, fresh brain, like a sponge. I was like, I'm ready to go all in. Yeah, and that's what actually happened when I told my parents. Yeah, my dad was like, all right, well, I'll never forget this too. My dad was always like, yeah, well, I mean. They just knew like we're not gonna change this guy's mind because I was convinced. I was like, I already dropped out. Like I knew what I wanted to do. My dad's just like, as long as you do it 100% and you go all in, like it's all that really matters. And then ever since that day, I took that to heart. Yeah, and that's how I've been kind of like living, like this, having this drive for comedy. Yeah, it's because of that moment. And then so in a way, it's like kind of like a thing that pushes me every day. Is his words, but also my mom too. Like she didn't really understand it even more, and she was crying. She's like, "Oh, like what's gonna happen? Like like what are you gonna make money? How are you gonna make money? All this shit, right?" But eventually, when they start to see some success and some results, obviously they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it's actually working. And like you're getting all these opportunities, you're making a little money here and there, right? And then they're fully supportive. So,
and I think that's the point with a lot of immigrant parents is more like when you start out, you're a loser. And then when you start making money, it's like, oh yeah, my son. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's okay. Yeah. Because for me, when I started doing comedy and probably was 5-6 years, actually maybe even more, that I hadn't told my parents. It's that fear, right? I'm old enough to like be married, had kids, wherever, living my life, but still have that fear of not telling them like I'm doing comedy. It's just like, oh, can't tell them shit wherever.
By the way, do you know how old this guy is?
We're not putting that on air. I'm old.
Nah, honestly, when he told me, it fucking tripped me out. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think he's like 35 or 60. No way, not even close.
I'll take that. Though.
You gotta tell him. All right. I just want to see his reaction.
You have to cut it out. I'm 47. No, man. Yeah, bro. I'm old, bro.
No, bro. Honestly, it pissed me off when he told me that. I was like, how the fuck? Black don't crack, for real.
We use crack. But we don't crack. That's crazy. Yeah,
cocoa butter?
Cocoa butter, man. Hey, it's
always rubbing some shit.
100%.
That's crazy, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
anyway.
thanks, man.
Sorry, I had to cut you off, but I just needed to tell everyone.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
So you're saying?
The thing is, like, I feel like for personally, like for me with my parents, is like even the other day, because it's like I'm planning to move to the UK and go do comedy full time. And my mom calls me up. It's like, why do you want to do that? What about your children? Why don't you just get a job as a taxi driver? Just forget this comedy. You know what I mean? It's more like, and I feel they come from a place of caring, but the also place of caring is not for your progress. And it's just like, well, we sacrificed for you, and and now you want to drop all that and go do something else that we don't understand and whatever. I was in Edinburgh last year, and I stayed with my mom for like a week or something because she's in Liverpool and I was in Edinburgh. And then when I came back from Edinburgh, she was like, why didn't you take up acting? I was like, if I told you I was going to take up acting when I was 18, the beating I would have got, because it wasn't a paying job. For them, it's like, why? Like, you've got your 5 careers, choose one: doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect, accountant.
That's it.
Now you want like who's acting? Who do you know? And that's the other thing. They look at everyone around them.
Right.
Who do you know is an actor making money?
Name me one Kenyan actor.
Who's, you know what I mean? And now you've got everything and everyone. And because I remember, I think I was about 10 or 11 years old, and my mom's brothers used to play in a band in Kenya, but they used to play for like hotels, which was mostly tourist white people go wherever. And at that time, music was seen like people who played music in hotels. You just want to get a white woman, and you go overseas and wherever. So it wasn't like anything they enjoyed or liked. And at that time, I was doing music classes, so I was going for piano classes. And African parents, your uncle comes in, your uncle goes like, "What do you want to become?" I said, "I want to become a musician." My dad stopped paying piano lessons the following week. Was like, done.
What?
Yeah. No more piano lessons.
Are you serious?
100%.
Because you said you wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, I want to become a musician. Yeah.
Wow, because he's like, I'm not going to let my son do some shit that's never going to make him money.
Oh, yeah.
That's his thinking.
Plus, you get the look of there's a spanking coming after this. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to hit you to change your mind.
The belt is coming out.
The belt is coming out. It's like, it's super crazy stuff. But I feel like with what your parents did for you, that's totally amazing, man.
I think it's rare.
That's crazy.
I think it's rare for sure. There are some Middle Eastern parents, Asian parents who are way more strict that I know personally.
In Canada?
Friends. Yeah, in Canada.
Yeah, because I feel like it was living in Canada was good that your parents would say that. Like, if you were back home, it would have been like, nah.
No, yeah, well, especially if it was back home in Iran, maybe, way different for sure. But I feel like because they're in the western side of the world now, or even from the jump. But still, they're like some of my boys back home who are also immigrants, fucking Tamils and Indians and Pakistanis. Like their parents are still fucking strict. Yeah, like they don't give a shit. They would never have let their kids do what I did.
Oh yeah, yeah. 100%.
So it's like there are still a lot of generation of parents that are in Canada or US who are not like my parents at all. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm lucky. So because the support from them goes a long way as well.
Oh yeah. As in, you do it guilt free. You know what I mean?
That too, man.
And that's the most important bit, where you can just chill out, and if things don't work out, they don't go like, "Ooh, you could have been in it,"
and they make you feel worse.
Yeah, they make you feel worse. Yeah.
Now your mental health is just down the drain even more, right? Yeah. It's like, but I feel like even your experience with piano could have been so different if the framework was different from your dad,
100%,
right? Like, imagine it's like, oh yeah, like you want to be a musician? Let me double down on them.
Exactly right.
How different your life would be.
Oh, would be. And if you think about it, like you probably don't know about Kenyan music as much, but there's a lot.
Actually, no, I'm certified. Kenyan music.
Yeah,
yeah.
So the amount the amount of people who have made money musically from that point on and living rich millionaire lives, because every Kenyan loves Kenyan music and they listen to Kenyan music, and then people are being, getting to do shows overseas. So you've got, groups like Sauti Sol, which, they even were nominated for a Grammy and stuff like that, and then now they got to a point where music started making money, and then my dad was like, "Oh, I could have continued with piano lessons." Like, now you tell me, like, you know what I mean?
Because they never want to admit either.
And African parents don't admit. I don't know. Let me not say African parents. Immigrant parents don't admit.
Oh yeah,
I feel before even people started talking about gaslighting, immigrant parents were the worst gaslighter. We didn't have a term for it.
No,
but they were the worst. Like
100%.
You could tell them something and they'll be like, Mom, you said you're going to take us to the shops. When did I say that? Like 10 minutes ago.
You start questioning your own existence.
Yeah, it's like, you said we were going to go to the shops. I never say that.
No.
It's like, go study. Yeah. Go study.
And then they get mad at you.
Yeah.
And they're now not only gaslighting you, now they're shitting on you, making you feel like you're the idiot.
I have this... I have this observation, like, I feel like in Kenya, the most unguilty thing you can ever do can also be the most guilty thing you can ever do. Like, so over here, you can come home and your kids could be just sitting there watching TV, right? What are you guys doing? Oh, just chilling, relaxing.
Oh,
You can't find that in a Kenyan household.
no chance.
What you're relaxing? Why? I came from work. Are you seeing me relaxing? I went to work. I'm here. Now I'm cooking. Like, I'm just working for you to relax. Like, relaxing is such a guilt-tripping thing. Like,
That's
relaxing
crazy.
is a sin. You can't relax. Why are you relaxing? Like, do something.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's the worst. My dad was one of those, like, he used to own his own company, and school holidays was like, come over and, work and get some money. I'm like, cool. And I'd go to his office, and you would do everything. So, like, efficiently. By 12 o'clock, you're done. He'd come 12:02. What are you doing? It's like, nothing. Well, is there nothing else to do? Yeah, we've cleaned the office, we've done this, wherever. It's like, find something to do. Just go count those papers. Like, just do something. Like, you can't just
sit
here.
still, you fucking lazy piece of
right?
shit.
And then he used to pay me and then still borrow the money back.
Of course.
He'd pay me and they'd be like, oh, I need money for fuel. I'll give it back to you. And
You
then,
never would.
And then, no, you can't even ask for it. Why are you asking for, have you eaten today? Yeah. Do you live in my house? Yeah. You like, I'm paying rent, I'm paying electricity, I'm paying.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just,
Yeah.
Square, that's
Give me the
square.
money back.
That's square.
Give me the fucking money.
You're paying your rent today. It's like, it's the worst.
It's so crazy, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's so funny about the relaxing, coming home in your house, like Kenyan household. It's similar to like our cultures too. Like, it's like that moment they see you not working, or like it's like you're having fun. You know how much guilt I've had over the years playing video games or like watching TV. I actually cringe at the idea of my dad walking by me
and you're playing video games,
and I'm just sitting down watching TV. I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And it's nothing like, it's not like a hateful thing at all. It's more so just like, that's just how it's been conditioned.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's how he was conditioned from his, upbringing. So it makes sense.
They would have been very good for hospitality.
Who?
Our parents, like managers for hospitality.
Oh, 100%.
Because I've worked in hospitality. You don't sit still, man.
Oh, no, you're always on the go.
Yeah, you're always on the go. Even when there's nothing. I used to work for a cafe, man, and it was the same. Like, you have your busy period between 6 and 8 o'clock when people are going to work. So they come in for coffee, so it's busy and wherever. And then you have your 9 to like 10 o'clock where there's nothing. But you're preparing for lunch, so you do whatever, set up the tables for lunch. But after lunch, there's nothing. And I have this crazy manager who's like, can you sweep outside? It's like, why? Dude, there's nothing outside to do right now. Like, I'm waiting for my time to go home, but you always have to do something. And I feel African parents or immigrant parents are just the same. Just sitting still is forbidden, bro.
I have to add something for somebody, because I've worked in restaurants, obviously. I think you mentioned the culinary thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's like a common line in kitchens where it's like, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. Because you're tired, right? It's hot. You're making minimum wage, and you're just like taking a 1 second little elbow lean on the again. And those all chefs are immigrant parents too, I think.
Yeah, I think the training is the same, man. I've had to do a lot of unlearning.
Oh yeah. A lot. Unlearnings. Yeah, a lot of our generation.
Yeah,
I mean, you're fucking
30
years older than
a
me,
few
apparently.
generations there. Yeah, me and Moses used to roll out. Yeah, no, but I've had to do a lot of unlearning how not to be guilty, and learning how to relax, and learning how to do the things that I feel I want to do, and I'm happy and I'm good at. You know what I mean? But I'm still learning a lot. There's also a lot of learning that I should have had, because we were talking about even like relationships, the way, with your parents, they never talk about certain things, and we're never taught about like how to be, like, for myself. I wish there was a way that I would have learned to be a better parent, but no one tells you that. You know what I mean?
True.
So it's a hit and miss. And then they see it from your miss point, and like, you should have done this. Well, no one gave me, there was no blueprint here, you know?
You should have taught me this.
Yeah.
How's it my fault?
Exactly. So now it's like, and then it's like, oh, you know, you should have done this, should have done that. And then it's, again, back to gaslighting, because when you tell them what they did, it's like, no, that never happened. that never happened.
It's so fast. It's so fast.
Never happened.
Yeah, it's like they're perfect the whole time.
Yeah. We were good.
What do you mean? How could you say something like that?
It's we did the best with what we had, but you can't do the best with what you have. You should do better.
You know what I did when I was your age? Yeah, it's always like it's always doubling down too.
Yeah.
Like it's almost like a competition of like who suffered more.
Yeah, 100%. You know, and it's always that they'll always remind you how much they gave you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, we gave you this, we gave you that, so you should be better.
It's like I'm sure was it the same for you with we always make a joke about you know how my dad would, but man, when I was your age I had to like fucking trek to school and like climb this fucking mountain.
My mom read in candlelight, and you know there was no electricity for her. My dad was always, so in Kenya, I don't know if in Canada it's the same. So with my kids now in school, when they finish their exams, they don't get classed in position. So in Kenya, if there's 40 students in class, there's a number 1 and there's a number 40.
What do you mean, like in terms of like ranking of how good of a student you are?
Yeah, and how well you did in your exam.
That's hilarious. So they
there's
literally
there's someone who's number 40, 100%. Like if you're bad, like you know where you rank.
And everyone knows who the worst person is.
I was number 1, that guy was number 2. What number are you? I was number 36. It's like, dude, you're dumb.
Look at this fucking loser.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And so with my kids, like now or here in Australia, the way they rank the kids is like he's reading at a level 12th grade. He's doing math at level 9. He's, you know what I mean? So it's they kind of grade you in such a way like you're not feeling bad at yourself. It's just like, oh, cool, I can do better and whatever. But for us, it was like, you're number 1, you're number 2, you're number 3. And my dad was always number 1.
Of course he was.
That's what it says. I have never seen his report forms, you know. Yeah, he's gaslighting. But it's like, I was the best in maths. I was always number 1. I was always... It's like, dude, and every Kenyan parent, ask any Kenyan.
They all say the same
all the it's like, who was number last? Like, if all of you are all number 1, like
who was 11? I want to know who 11 was.
Yeah, everyone was number 1.
Yeah,
no, it's
all cap.
It's the craziest, the craziest thing ever. So
straight lies.
For us was the gaslighting and was just off the hook, man.
It's so weird how it's like we all have the same experience.
Yeah,
on different parts of the world.
And with immigrants especially, for me, I don't understand how it doesn't matter what part of the world you come from. Like when you have that immigrant experience, you start realizing like they all said the same things or did these things in a certain way. And I've always wondered, like, did they go to a school and just learn the same shit all the time?
Seriously. Yeah. It's like, how would they know to say the same things?
Yeah.
There's no way. Because they didn't have social media.
For me. No,
maybe nowadays it would make sense. Like, oh, okay, like you just know because you see other people.
Yeah, people saying
back then, how the fuck would they know that?
That's crazy for me.
It's actually wild.
It's very wild.
They're not real, man. They're aliens.
I don't understand. I don't know.
Some higher power shit.
Oh yeah,
it's the universe fucking with us.
Man, it's crazy. but yeah, that's been my experiences, man. And how are you feeling about being here, being in Australia?
It's cool. You know, it's a good experience. I think it's important to travel and, you know, put yourself in new environments.
Yeah.
Because you learn more about different cultures. And we were talking about how there's the comedy program in Canada too, and they don't have anything like that here. It's because the culture is just so behind here.
Yeah.
The comedy culture is behind in Australia, but in Canada it's better. It's not the best. Yeah. US is the best, 100%. And I wish there were more. I wish there were more programs or sessions to do with comedy funded by the government of every country. So there are so many people out there who would wish that they could, you know, dive deep and double down and just go all in on comedy or acting or piano, right? but then there's no funding for it.
Yeah, that's true.
And if your parents aren't for it, then you're fucked. You have to go down this university college route just like everybody else does. And that's the thing too, is that's the standard that I grew up on from my parents too. They're like, because their perspective is there's only one way to be successful, and that is to get into the best universities, best colleges, and study, get good grades, get your masters, get whatever your degrees, and then just start working. And there's no other way. There's no other option. And that's how society has painted this picture over the years. But I feel like since the social media era, it's changed drastically. And now it's not the same, I don't think. I think a lot of people who are in high school now, they don't feel that same pressure.
Yeah, you don't need to go to uni. You can find a lot of other things to make it. Yeah, that's crazy. I would totally love to kind of be able to do that, because I feel like not having had the opportunity to learn comedy, like there's still a lot that I could learn. And like I told you, like I feel North American comedy is very different, because you do have that energy that you bring all the time, and the way you perform and the way you do jokes, there's an energy, there's the physicality, which you don't get in a lot of comedians out here. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
You've seen many comedians out here, and there isn't any physicality. It's just like, I'll stand there, I'll do jokes and whatever. Well, you can stand there and just do something physical, and because it's part of the joke, I really want to learn that. Like I feel like I'd like to get to have that experience. Was it an expensive course?
It was just like a regular college basic program course. I don't remember. I think it was like 40 grand or something like that.
That's a lot.
Or maybe it was like 20 grand then, or maybe 16 or something.
But you're talking then, so a few years back.
This was 9 years ago.
Yeah,
so 2020. I enrolled in 2015. I had to audition to get in. Yeah, and obviously I got in, and 2015 to 2017. But I think it was like 16 grand or something like that. Yeah, it was like 8. Sorry, it was like 5 to 6K a year, so it was even less than that. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, but it was worth it. But I feel like if you're already doing stand up, it's not really you're not going to get as much out of it this time around. For the other courses, maybe like for the acting and the physicality. Yeah. That's where you're right about the physicality of comedians here compared to back home. That's something that I learned from the beginning as a foundation to help me with my stand-up now. Yeah. Which I didn't think about until now. Until recently, where I realized, oh shit, like it's because I have training in acting as well, and physical comedy, which is like its own thing. Yeah. Like literally there were classes where my physical comedy teacher, shout out Crystal Bartelzi, she was great because she taught me how to like use my body to be funny. Like just classic like slapstick physical comedy. Yeah, right? Yeah. Like Charlie Chaplin's like the OG like example. Yeah, yeah. Right, yeah. But obviously stand up has evolved and you have to adapt, and you can't just do that anymore, right? Yeah. But it's like you learn about techniques, about like what a funny facial expression is, or like the way you move your arm, the way you stand, like those things really matter. The way you take up space on stage. Yeah. Your stage presence. Yeah. And people can feel that.
And I feel for American comedy in general. So when I say American, I include the whole of North America. Right. So I feel like a lot of comedians do that.
Well, yeah, especially
like a good number of them.
Yeah. It's more of like a North American thing for sure. Yeah. A lot of my comic friends, like if you think I'm physical, like there's so many guys I know from back home. Yeah. They're like over the top, like it's crazy. I'm like, you guys are really big and like loud and take up a lot of space, like very physical. Yeah. And I've learned from those guys too more, right? Yeah. So that's the thing. You're a product of your environment too. Yeah. And that's why I feel like I have that coming here, because of all the people I worked with back home. But then coming over here, I noticed, it's very much more tame. Yeah. It's much more like you're just standing on stage and just talking. Yeah. And that's it. There's not many other aspects to the stand-up. No. Which is very interesting. And it's not as confident in a way. It's like, it sounds, you know what I'm trying to say? It's not as like energetic and like in your face. It's more just like laid back and like, you're
not putting yourself out there. Because I feel the physicality is also showing vulnerability to be stupid.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
embarrassing yourself.
Being silly, yeah.
Yeah, being silly.
And you don't want to be silly. I'm cool. You know, I'm just.
That's it.
I'm chill, man. So,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So anyway, for that reason, that's why it's good. But
That's
like
pretty
honestly,
cool,
like doing stand up on its own, that's the best way you're gonna learn how to do stand up.
Yeah.
Is just going out and doing stand up.
But do you feel like it's, for me, and I was thinking about it, I have been thinking about it for a long time, that as an unregulated industry, it's because there's no, in business terms, we say barriers to entry. And everyone could just be like, oh, I'm a comedian now. And then, you know, there's so many bad comedians as well, you know? And so people go to a show and be like, oh, I am never watching. I am never going to watch another. If that is comedy and I've never been to a live show, that is it for me. I'm done. I know. You know?
That's It's fucked up because there are some people, that's the thing, we talk about this sometimes where like this is the only industry where if you go on stage one time, you could say you're a comedian.
I've never done it before, but now I'm legit.
A comedian.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not a fucking comedian. But that's the thing, and that's the problem is sometimes, someone might stumble into a show one time, an amateur show. Yeah. Or there's an amateur comedian, they're like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. And like literally, like even shows I've still been doing this whole time, like to this day. There's like, I don't know, like during the festival, like the past week, like there's one show I did and the guy before me was just ate shit. But he wasn't bombing as like a good comedian. Yeah. He was terrible. Yeah. And like it's like, you don't know what you're doing. From the Not audience. Even pity, no laughs. No laughs. It was actually pity, sorrow more.
Yeah, like, like everyone's soul is dying. It's like, oh my God.
Everyone's soul is dying and so is that guy on stage. Because it is terrible. So that's the, I guess that's maybe the problem with, but that's also the reason why out here already there's no comedy culture. Yeah. So now they come into these shows with amateurs putting on shows, making it the image for the rest of us comedians who are doing well or at least like progressing up. It's making it worse because now they think, oh, is everyone like fucking this guy? Yeah. Who's talking about this wild shit on stage and he's not like prepared to talk about this stuff yet? Like, because that's the other thing too is, well, the number one thing I learned early on is like, when you're first starting out doing comedy, like you start with fucking basic shit. Talk about your cat or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't go straight into fucking gender politics. Yeah. No one gives a fuck. Yeah. About what you think.
Yeah. And so how you bring the funny out of it. Like, yeah.
And then a lot of amateur comedians, and even until this many years in, like a lot of them don't know how to still talk about those things. So it's like you got to work towards it a lot before you start talking about deeper shit. And that's the problem I feel like a lot of amateur comedians do is like they'll just talk about like, because they go for the shock value. Yeah. Because they think that's going to be funny. But then it just comes off as like unprepared and kind of just cheap and I don't know.
And also I think a lot of people want to be topical, so you want, oh, what just happened today, sure, and that's what I want to talk about it without thinking about where is the funny for today. Like a lot of people are getting affected in different ways, and it's the same as comedy. Like you go on stage and you say the same joke, and in a full room of 100 people, you know, a third of each of the class in the same room have taken the joke in a different direction to where you want to take it. And so, you know, until you get to the punchline, there's like, oh, I thought it was going to go this way. I thought it was going to go this way. So now you're saying something that happened yesterday where everyone's still supercharged about it.
I know.
And then if you don't have a good punchline to it and you don't have a good setup to it, then it's like, oh shit, that guy just sucked dick, man. Like, I wouldn't have done it.
100%.
I would. And even for comedians, we're sitting backstage like, oh, I wouldn't have done that joke.
No. 100%. You know how many times I've thought that? Yeah. I'm like, oh man, why did you do that? Yeah. Not the right time.
Yeah, no. Like, I think the last show we did, there was someone who went up on stage. I was like,
yeah, I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I was exactly. Like, I would not have done that.
Yeah,
you know,
just a weird thing. But I noticed that you also have been trying to get more into the crowd work too.
Yeah.
You've been trying to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
more into the audience work.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like you told me you never really did that before.
I used to be scared of bombing because if someone tells
No,
Sorry,
there's the old man cough coming out. You're such a dad, man.
That
You're
is
dad,
sexual
so
level.
you know how it is.
No, but I feel like with crowd work as well, you have to be careful because if you're not in control of it, then and you don't know where it's gonna go. And for me, it was for a long time. For crowd work, I didn't know like how if someone said something that was not funny, then how do you react to it? How do you without bombing? Because it frazzles you. It's like if they say something like, "Oh, okay, I've got nothing to say on that joke," and then everyone's like, "Okay, you started this.
Yeah.
Finish.
Yeah.
Make
Finish
it
him.
funny. Make
Yeah.
it funny now."
Yeah.
And so
They're waiting for the joke.
And
You don't wanna- yeah.
they're judging you on
Yep.
how smart are you. Like, how smart can you make that unfunny situation funny? And yeah, for a long time, I didn't know how to bring it into a joke or stay in that uncomfortability of like, okay, it's uncomfortable because he said something that's totally not where I wanted to go, but then how can I play with it and still bring it back to where I want to come without the audience knowing like I'm lost. So and now like, yeah, I'll do the crowd work and someone would say something unfunny, I'll be like, well, there's no joke in there, and then go to the next person. And until you get to the point where it's like, cool, this person has said something that I can work with. And so the other people like in the audience, they might like, cool, yeah, that. In fact, you've already told them that's unfunny. So even for them, even if they were thinking he would say something intelligent and you didn't, they're like, yeah, he said it was a boring job. It's just, an accountant. Well, there's nothing funny in that. So you save yourself kind of. But it's been a learning process. And then you've got people like, shout out to Kyle Legacy, where he just riffs the whole time. Yeah. And it doesn't matter what you throw at him. He's got something to say off the head. I want to be... To get to that level. I think the best crowd work king I ever saw was, can't remember his name. He was Canadian, and I saw him at the festival a few years back. But he just came into a show and he riffed for like a whole hour, just talking to people, riffing, wherever. He talk about, there's a gal on stage, talked about her boobs, imagined what underwear she was walking, but it wasn't cringe. It was just funny as, and got to the next person and the next person and the next person. And and that from that point, like I looked at North American comedy very differently because you do a lot of crowd work, you do a lot of, when you do your jokes and you still have the energy to do it. That was pretty chill.
Yeah, no, that's true, man. It's I think it is a big American thing.
Yeah.
For sure, a Canadian as well. Yeah, because we're not afraid to ask questions and get into it.
Yeah.
With people, with random people.
Yeah.
But I feel like here they're more reserved because they're like, no, like don't talk to us. Like Australians are like, don't, just do your fucking.
Yeah, just
like,
make us laugh.
Yeah, make us laugh.
Yeah.
You fucking unfunny.
Yeah.
Cat.
Yeah.
But in terms of the crowd work too, you're right about when sometimes you ask. One thing I've learned personally is. And I think Andrew Schultz is a good example for me because have you seen his stuff, Andrew Schultz?
Not.
You haven't seen Andrew Schultz's comedy?
I think I might have watched one or two, but probably not a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's so funny whenever I mention him, and then like with other comedians, and they don't really know much about him. I'm like if anything, that's the guy you should be fucking watching because he's one of the best right now.
Yeah.
And, he's the guy of our generation in a way of like at the top of the game.
Yeah.
And his crowd work, I highly recommend you watching his crowd work special.
Okay.
And he has some other stuff too, but he's so good off the cuff. Mm-hmm. But also, I've noticed that when he's going into something, he relates it back to like a joke he's about to go in himself.
Yeah.
And a lot of good crowd work comedians, you notice is that like they ask a question, it's almost like pre-planned. Because they're like they ask a question that could potentially, no matter what the person says in the audience, they're gonna have an answer for it because they already have the line ready in their heads of what they're gonna say that's funny about this crowd work question they're asking.
Yeah.
Or it just goes into a joke that they already know. So I think that part makes it, especially if you do it smoothly, and the audience doesn't know that you have this prepared.
Yeah.
But if you go through it smoothly and you get some laughs before you go into your joke, people are gonna be like, "Holy fuck! How the fuck did he do that?"
Yeah.
And that's why I love about the art of the crowd work.
Yeah.
But you're saying how, asking a question and like someone says they're accountant, and you're like, you don't have anything funny in mind.
Yeah.
The best thing I found too is like, all right, well that's fucking boring. What about you? And then like. But you have to almost show people psychologically what to think.
Yeah.
Because you have to tell them almost like, all right, this is boring.
Yeah.
But it's funny that it's boring, and then it kind of gives you that leeway to like move on without getting away with it.
Yeah.
With like not coming up with something witty in the moment. Obviously, like the more experienced you are, you probably will find something funny eventually.
You start finding the stuff.
But that's a good like base, I think.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to have. I don't know what the right term is, but. Like plant a few different like sentences or phrases to say.
Yeah.
And just in case you fumble the bag.
Some
or
mentalist shit. Just put some seeds so that someone answers you the way you want them to.
No, not even that. I'm more so just like having a funny line in mind for certain scenarios. That, like maybe someone doesn't answer you. What would you say?
Yeah.
Maybe someone is talking to their friend before answering you. What's a line you can say that's funny there? Maybe they say a certain thing about food, and then you have an answer or a funny joke about food or whatever it is, right? So, yeah, I think
I'm getting to that point. Like, I now have the little bit of confidence to go like, if someone said something and then I go like, I can talk to them about it. So I had, I think one of the shows that I was doing, and this guy was like, "Where are you from?" And he was like, "I'm from here," and it's like, he was Indian. I was like, "No, you're not." Like Aboriginal people would not have taken that joke. Like, no, you're not from here.
Yeah.
But it was like, again, sometimes it comes off quick and whatever. And then, and I think the funny bit about that was I asked him what your background is. So what's your background? And he goes, IT. I'm like, oh, damn, man. Like, what's your background?
Fucking classic.
Like, classic. Like, I get what you're going from.
I hate when people do that, by the way. I hate because you know what I'm asking. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, but now they're pretending like, oh, IT. I was like,
be smart.
yeah, shit.
Yeah.
I wish I'd done go home. Now I'm thinking about, sometimes my comebacks come like 2 weeks later.
That's
like,
classic.
Oh, shit,
it always happens.
Yeah.
It always happens.
Yeah.
There was one time actually I had the same, because I like to ask about people's backgrounds too a lot, because I just more my humor of like I have race jokes. But one time, I don't know if you're there, but there's in the fest a few weeks ago, there's this Asian girl. She like fully looked Chinese, right? Like I knew. But I asked her, I was like, "Hey, what's your background?"
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh, I'm Australian." And I was like, "Are you sure about that?" and then she's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, but you're like that sounded really Chinese of you, you know?"
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Yeah, well, we're all Chinese." And I was like, "We're all Chinese?" So that means I could just speak, "Oh, sure." And then I go into like an act out of, but like, I just like you take whatever they say and you double down on it.
Yeah.
Right. So she said I'm Chinese.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, oh, okay, that means I can be Chinese.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
yeah.
funny.
And it's not racist.
It's not racist
because we're
she
all
said-
Chinese now.
Yeah, we're all Chinese.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and then I just make up shit in Chinese, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's what's funny. I think is being comfortable, being confident.
Yeah.
With taking what they say and really hearing what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then doubling down on it because
And I
it
think
shows
that comes-
boldness. It's bold.
And it comes with experience as well.
Of course it does,
Which
yeah.
is like,
Definitely.
sometimes you find like if people are starting out in comedy and they're trying to do crowd work and they're not confident in it, so you can see that. Because it takes experience to be able to be comfortable, double down on it, bring something funny in it. Otherwise, sometimes it just doesn't work out. But
well, that's the thing. The difference between it doing well and doing shit is how confident you are while you're doing that crowd work.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
No.
Because that's the thing. Because another thing too with the energies is I think energy really matters on stage too. Because humans can feel energies very easily.
Yeah.
And they can tell if you're being authentic or not.
Yeah.
if you're faking it or not, or you're confident or not.
Yeah.
And it could really swing the mood of the show in
100%.
a different direction.
Yeah.
Just by how you treat it on stage.
Yeah. You did tell me that. I think we were doing that one show, and I hadn't slept that day, the previous day. Like I'd only had like 3 hours sleep, and I felt I didn't have the energy for it. The crowd as well was like really dead.
Yeah.
But
Classic.
I didn't also feel the energy, and I think that makes a very big point, because if they, like you're saying, they feel your energy, you're off, and then they're off, and then now you've got this whole big room of off, and then nothing works out, And I guess when it comes to what I'm trying to say is, I've also not been the type of comedian to go off on a crowd.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of comedians sometimes like, oh, you should have laughed at that joke. Well, they could have, but there was no energy in it. There was nothing.
Funny. Yeah.
And so sometimes I've had people like comedians, like they'd be on stage and then they'd blame the crowd. It's like, oh, you didn't get that joke, or you did, and no one goes back to reflect like, what was my role in that scenario?
Yeah, and that's now I look back on, because I don't think I ever really did that before. Maybe that when you're amateur and you're newer, it makes sense to be like, oh, you guys didn't like that, like, oh, what the fuck, and like you get into your head about it. But now I'm at a point where that will never happen, because knowing what I know about audience interaction and because it's your job to make them laugh.
Yeah.
So they're not even obligated to laugh at your shit.
Yeah.
You have to almost make them laugh. Like literally you have to make them laugh. But you have to also make them think, make them believe that your joke is the funniest joke that they've heard.
Yeah.
And that's something I've gotten as advice from this guy Lachlan, who's Russell Peters' opener.
Oh yeah.
He was on his last tour, like when I did a spot too. He told me, because I was nervous, because that was the first time I opened for Russell Peters.
Yeah.
It was back home.
Yeah.
And it was obviously the biggest show I've ever done in my life. And I was first up on stage in front of fucking 9,000 people.
Yeah.
Never done this in my life. And I was only doing like 10 minutes. But I was nervous because I was like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
But then Lachlan, he's like, yo, man, like you're overthinking it. You just have to go up there and do what you know that you find funny, and sell these jokes on stage to these people.
Yeah.
Like it's the best joke they've heard.
Yeah.
And ever since that day, I've took that to heart. And now when I go on stage, as much as I can, I think about that. I'm like, if I don't bring the heat, there's no chance of them even laughing. But if I just already in my head, I'm like, this crowd is like dead. Like, they're probably not gonna like my shit.
Yeah.
And you go up with that, then you're only making it worse.
Yeah.
But if you see that they're dead, I see it as an opportunity now to be like, let me go up. It's a challenge. Let me see if I can turn them.
Yeah, I'm bringing you
right.
back.
It's two different types of mindsets to have about stand up. I think so. I think it's super important. To think about those things. And sorry, one more thing too is I've noticed there are like more amateurish comics who go up on stage and they blame the audience.
Yeah.
And it fucking makes me cringe, dude.
Oh, same.
I hate it because I'm like, what are you doing?
Don't blame the audience. Yeah, this is a you thing.
This is a you problem. Yeah, exactly. And it's so, especially when you're watching from the back and you're like you're zooming out and you're watching as a viewer, as a consumer rather than a comic. Yeah. It's like, it's such a bad look.
Oh, if I've paid money for you to come make me laugh, and then you blame me for you not being funny. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's one of the things he despises even more than I do.
Yeah.
Because he also manages me and like sees the behind the scenes of all our shows and other shows too. And he sees it in a different lens as well, which is very interesting. And he brought it up to me a few times.
Yeah.
Just on shows we did before in the past with other comics who were on our shows. And like ever since he's brought that up, it's like, that's all I can think about because it's true. It's like, it really matters how you bring it rather than blaming it on someone else. It's like good to take that accountability.
That's why I don't do like, put your hands up when I go to concerts. Dude, I've paid my shit. You put your hands up. Like, you do it, bro. I'm done. Right. I'm here for entertainment. I'm not clapping for shit until the end of the concert.
That's funny because he actually said the same thing too about DJs.
Yeah.
Some DJs, they go up and like make some fucking noise, and it's true. We laugh about it, but it's like it's true. Sometimes some of them do it way more than the other ones.
Yeah.
And it's like make some noise every 2 seconds. I'm like, bruh. play the music and let me dance.
Just keep. Yeah, don't interrupt this. Don't interrupt this.
I'm trying to vibe here.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But funny you mentioned Russell Peters as well. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, something.
Usually I wouldn't, but this is like maybe the topic I'm most passionate about when it comes to comedians, especially.
Yeah.
I have no deal breaker with Neema except for this one, and that's with anybody I work with on any show. I don't care if you bomb. I don't care if you forget your jokes. I don't care about anything, but if you ever turn on the crowd, I'm done.
Yeah.
We won't have a discussion. We won't have a debrief. I'm just going to leave and I'll never work with you again. That's my one deal breaker, because I find it like, you know how sometimes like on woke or internet, people use the word disgusting and they throw it around too much.
Yeah.
I genuinely mean I get disgusted when I see a comedian on stage turn on the crowd, because it's like, how fucking dare you? How the audacity you have. You're on stage telling jokes, your opinion about the life and world and whatever stupid bullshit, and like it's funny and it's weird and it's creative or whatever. And then because people aren't laughing, you turn on them.
Yeah.
It's like, you suck, man. You fucking loser. Like maybe the joke wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Maybe your energy sucked.
100%.
Maybe, I don't know. There's a million reasons, but to turn on the people that are there they gave you their effort of driving their fucking, they could have been on the couch watching Netflix.
Yeah, that could have been at home. Yeah.
They paid money.
Yeah.
And now they're giving you more of their time, attention, effort. They bought a drink.
Yeah.
They're looking good. And then you tell them, what's wrong with you guys?
Yeah.
I want to get up there and punch them. And I've never hit anybody for any reason in my life. But that brings me so much anger.
No, that's true, man.
Because imagine you're watching a concert.
Yeah.
And Drake turns on, he's like, why the fuck aren't you guys singing? This song is great. Like, it would never happen. Because he's not a loser.
No.
True.
But half the fucking comedians in this town, other towns I've been to, they all break the fourth wall. And it's like, dude, like, you're supposed to be up there to entertain me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not supposed to give you laughter. And if it's funny, I will. And I'll
You
really laugh if it is.
You need to bring the laughter out of me.
I fucking hate it, dude.
No, I agree.
It angers me. It's the only thing in my, cause, you know, we produce shows, right?
Yeah.
We do shows, like, it's the only rule I have. I don't give a fuck. I'll defend you if you call people names. Yeah. You get booed off stage. They throw. I'll defend everything except for that.
Yeah.
You say fag by accident.
Yeah.
We got you.
Well, I'm glad. Now that I know if I ever come to your show, I'll just suck in peace. I'm dying here. But to show the audience, it's me.
He goes off stage. I fucking hated that audience. This fucking sucked. Man, God, this audience, fuck! I want to kill these people, these stupid idiots.
No, it's good. No, but I agree. I think the audience is never to blame. People have to get to that point of being retrospective about what you brought to the thing, and that's why I have the joke as well, where I go like if I go like when I was on dating sites, you know, and then you'd read a profile and a girl would be like, oh my God, you know, I want someone who's funny. It's like, why are you putting that pressure on me? You know what I mean? Like, I'm funny to my friends. You could have a shit sense of humor. That's a you problem. You know, I do comedy, I go out, I tell jokes, people laugh, you know, and that has happened to me. You know, I've gone to this date and this chick, like in the first 5 minutes, she's like, oh, I thought you're a comedian. You're not that funny.
Oh,
like,
I hate that.
God damn it! Like, I'm not your puppet. I'm not just coming here and
he walks in like,
you know, like, ooh, I'm gonna make you laugh. It's like, but
cringe.
It's a cringe thing, you know. And I feel like comedians, we have a lot of that, you know. I'm sure you've had it, you know. You meet a girl and she's like, oh, you're a comedian. Oh, cool. Tell me something funny. It's like, you've been laughing for the last 5 minutes without knowing I was a comedian. That's exactly what I do. I don't need to tell you anything out of the ordinary, you know?
Yeah.
And it's until you tell them I'm a comedian, then all of a sudden it's like, make me laugh. Right. It's like, but you've been laughing.
Yeah, you idiot.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you've been laughing all along. So
I'm not a clown.
Why does this change?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's a psychological thing. And that actually did happen to me recently. And it's happened to me many times.
Yeah.
We were on a flight to Sydney.
Yeah.
And the flight attendant,
Yeah.
by the way, fucking very beautiful woman.
Yeah.
You know, 10 out of 10. I was getting nervous because just 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Comes up and I forget how it started, but I think I was like editing a video or something, or like I was saying something, and then she's like, "Oh, like what do you do?" Oh, like sorry. She's like, "Oh, you guys aren't from here," and he's like, "Yeah,
the accent,
the accent, yeah."
Yeah.
They're like, "Yeah, we're from Canada," and then like, "Oh, you're just visiting," and he's like, "For work," and then she's like, "What do you guys do?" And then he's like, I was like, "Oh, I'm a comedian. That's my manager," and then she's like, "You're a comedian? Oh wow, are you funny?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." And she's like, "Oh, okay. Like, well, I'm gonna wait until you make me laugh to see how funny you are." I was like, "Okay, no problem. Cool."
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not here to enter. I'm off right now.
Yeah.
I don't need to make you laugh.
And that's the other thing. Like people don't understand that comedy for us, as much as we love it, it's also a job.
Well, yeah.
Like we're working. When I'm on stage, that's a job. Like, and then when I'm off stage,
I'm just me. Like,
I'm just me. But a lot of people think like
you're always on.
Yeah, I had this lady who was like, "Oh, you're not funny as." Is she called Janelle, the black lady, older lady?
Janelle.
Yeah, I think she's Janelle. Oh, anyway,
like Lunel.
Lunel,
the
probably.
fat black lady, the American comedian?
Right.
She's funny.
And she's like, "Oh, you know, like that's the type of comedian because she's always funny or whatever."
Sure.
It's like, yeah, but not everyone's like that. Not everyone's like, whenever they tell you stories, they're laughing their heads off. You know what I mean? Like there are people who are like, you go on stage, you do your job, and you finish. You know, you're done. We're not. You don't ask musicians that.
You don't ask anybody that.
After they've finished their 9 to 5 or they've done their concert, it's like, "Oh my God, Nelly, rap for me."
Yeah. Right.
You know, you don't tell. Yeah, you understand. Like he's done his song, he's finished. Now he's being a different person.
Same with just regular jobs, like accountant. You never ask an accountant, "Hey, oh, you're an accountant. Let me do my taxes."
Do my taxes now.
Like, it's a classic example, right? But like, it's true though. It actually is relatable.
Yeah.
And it's also, I don't owe you anything. And if you don't think I'm funny, then I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. I've started to like learn for myself is some people do. This flight attendant, she literally was like, "Okay, like I'm gonna check your stuff to see if you're funny." I was okay, well, you're saying it in a way to make me feel like I'm care that
obligated for you.
If you don't find me funny, then I'm not funny.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like you can like my stuff if you want. If you don't, it's cool. And then I told her, I showed her my Instagram and stuff like that. And then like I was like, message me if you find me funny. She never messaged me back, but
well, she did find you funny.
I guess she didn't find me funny, but it is what it is, man. What are you gonna do?
What I tell people nowadays is if they ask me that, come here, tell me like how much are you paying me?
That's a good one.
Because I get paid to do comedy, right? And it doesn't have to be money. I could be paid in people who follow me, people who do whatever. Like, what are you giving me? Like, what do I get from you?
What if it's like a woman?
But still, how much are you paying? I don't care. If you come at me with you're a comedian, make me laugh, it's like I only make people laugh when I get paid. So right now, I'm not making any money. I don't need to make you laugh.
Now you just get all serious?
Yeah,
like,
100%. Yeah, I'm out. So either just see me as a normal person or not, or fuck off.
I see the same way. It's like the thing is, it's true. Some comedians are different than others in when they're off stage. Like for me personally, I'm like this. Whatever. Like sometimes we laugh, sometimes we talk real shit. It's not always on.
No,
it'd be so exhausting.
It is. I would be
being
so
on
exhausted.
all the time.
Yeah,
I hate that. I'm like, I can't hang out with you. I can't be around you.
Yeah.
That's how most comedians are, I think, or at least the good ones.
Yeah.
Or the ones who are self-aware.
Yeah.
But there are some comics too that I'm like, what are you doing? Like they're always on. They're always trying to make you laugh. But those ones are just like damaged, to be honest.
I can't
do that, man.
I remember one time, like when I was younger, there was this dude who, like for a long time, I used to feel very jealous of him because I wasn't doing comedy then, but it was someone like, say you went out on a date, like so you'd be a group of guys, you go out and be like, yeah, we'll go hang out, wherever. And then he picked up a chick, like he would talk the whole night, like the whole night. And this chick would be laughing and everything.
Really?
I'd be sitting there and be like, what is he telling her? Because for me, you've got an hour at most. I'll give you stories
An hour of material.
Yeah, we'll vibe wherever. It's gonna be laughs here, laughs there. It's gonna be down times wherever. But this guy never stopped talking.
This guy you knew?
No, that I wanted to do comedy.
No. This guy you're talking about, you knew him?
I knew him.
Oh,
so every time we'd go out with him, and for some reason, he always picked up the chicks, right? He always went home with the chicks. But I was like, how does he just keep talking? Like, in my head, I'm like, shut the fuck up, bro. You're making us look bad out here.
You're putting too much pressure on me, bro.
You know what I mean?
Because they're going to expect the same out of me.
Yeah, now, like, her friend is, like, sitting next to her friend. The other friend is laughing her head off. And you just
now
say,
like, well, so your turn, let's go.
Yeah, so, okay.
So, are you going to do this?
You know Patrick? Yeah, I know Patrick. Okay, cool. He's funny.
I'm waiting.
I was like, oh, yeah. Cool. Knock, knock. I was going to bring back Russell Peters, though. That's how I got into comedy as well.
Oh, really? Yeah, I was going to ask.
So,
that's interesting because most people, I feel like in my generation, a little bit older, in their 30s and 40s, I feel like they grew up on Russell Peters.
Well, I didn't even discover Russell Peters until way later. So I started my comedy in my late 20s, which is late for a lot of people because a lot of people start their comedies 15, 14, you know. Yeah. But when I started in comedy, Russell and Joe Coy were touring here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Together. Oh, wow.
Actually, Joe Coy is a product of Russell. Well, yeah, in terms of Russell kind of brought him to that level, yeah. I think
Can you hear me now? It's good. I think Joe Coy actually used to open for Russell.
Yeah, he used to, and that's what he did over here. And he was like the most hilarious, like when I saw him. And so I started, like I grew up with British comedy and American comedy, which is very relatable to me because, you know, you've got all your black comedians, and when it comes to the British comedians, there's a lot of cross-cultural stuff that you can relate to. So I used to do that. And then when I came to Australia, I never understood, you know, I never understood the culture. I never understood the humor over here. So I'd be watching a lot of comedy shows that were Australian, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get what the joke is. You know what I mean?
So different.
Very different. And it took me a while to understand how comedy was very geographical. You know, like if you go to different places, you'll have to kind of switch a little bit for them to be able to understand what you're talking about, because the experiences are going to be different, you know, especially if they don't have the same culture. There was not, I've been here 22 years. When I came here, like there wasn't a black culture per se. And even now, it's not there yet. It's growing, but it's not there yet. So I never understood that. And I was like watching all these shows, and then I was like, oh, cool. If it's that easy, you know, I can do it. Like they're not making me laugh, but I'm sure I'm funny. I can make people laugh. And now when people ask me, how did I get into comedy? It's like arrogance, like honestly speaking, because after a while, like 2-3 years, I watched the same comedians do the same jokes, and it was hilarious because now I understood the culture. I understood, you know, the references of things. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's why it was funny then. But initially, I didn't know that. So Russell and Joe were traveling in Australia, and I went and saw the show. At that time, I was still with my ex, and went and watched the show. And after the show, I was like, they were doing a meet and greet. So, you know, I went and I was waiting in line, and Russell says to me, like, oh my God, you put the black man at the back of the line again.
He would say some shit like that.
He would say some shit like that, right? And then, like I got to meet him and had a conversation with him, and I was like, look, I'm thinking of doing comedy, and wherever, is there any advice you would want to give me? It's like, yeah, actually, he was like, don't do it.
Of course.
You know, I was like, yeah, don't do comedy. Like, it's
yeah.
a shit, wherever. But Joe Coy was there, and Joe Coy was like, if you ever do it, don't stop it. Like, just keep doing it.
Yeah, of
like
course.
it's gonna get rough,
Right.
But if you really want to do it, and you start, don't stop. So and I have that at the back of my head every day. So even when my parents go like, get a taxi job, I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I've got, I'm fully locked in, and but yeah, no, it's amazing that you opened up for him. That's great.
Oh, yeah,
that'll be
it was
perfect show
for sure. I mean, it was a huge milestone for me, especially because we're from the same hometown too.
Yeah.
So it's even more special.
Yeah.
So
did you open for him in Toronto?
Yeah. It was a couple. It was in Ottawa, which is like 5-6 hours outside of Toronto, and then Kingston, Ontario.
Yeah.
It was a little closer to Toronto, and then Toronto itself, the downtown area. It was sick. It was crazy, and yeah, man. It's were they? When was this that you saw Russell and Joe Coy?
Oh, probably 2008, 2009.
Oh, so that was pretty much. Wait, was it? It was here in Melbourne.
Yeah, it was. In Melbourne.
Because he filmed this special in Sydney.
No, it was in Melbourne. Yeah.
It was in Melbourne?
It was in Melbourne. No. When I saw him, he was in Melbourne.
But he filmed the special in Sydney in like 2011 or some shit, I think. It was one of his earlier specials.
Yeah.
Was
it with Joe Coy?
I don't know if it was Joe Coy.
No.
Maybe. I think actually Joe Coy was a part of that special. I remember. His opening act.
Yeah, probably it was around that
same time probably, yeah. That's pretty interesting, man. Yeah, they're both so funny. They're very similar too, right, in their styles. And I feel like I take after them, and like I'm inspired a lot by their style.
Yeah,
of like racial, cultural stuff, accents, right?
Yeah.
I honestly I think that's the best kind of humor, in my opinion.
Yeah,
is when you're talking about cultures, because that's something mostly everyone in the world could relate to.
Yeah,
is immigrant
to one culture or something. Yeah,
culture to culture, like family stuff. It's like you can't beat that.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows the immigrant struggle. Yeah. Like we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
What we talk about right now, most of the world understands.
Oh, 100%.
So it's like if you can make jokes about that.
Yeah, because it's someone's uncle, auntie, grandparents.
Everything.
Dad,
exactly.
mom,
cousins, whatever. Exactly.
Yeah. And like what you're saying as well earlier, like, Russell kind of really brought it when he brought it. Like his first special.
Crazy.
I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
But I watched it on DVD. I was like, crazy. Because he was
so good.
It was so everything. Like, I was like, oh, yeah. I've done that. I've seen that. My uncle's that. My wherever.
Yeah, I've seen Chinese people do that.
You know what I mean? It was such a good special. Like,
I know.
No, he's
iconic.
He's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. That should go into a Hall of Fame.
100%. Yeah, I agree. That special is iconic. Yeah,
that should go into a Hall of Fame. 100%.
Definitely.
I think he, in terms of migrant comedians, he
paved the way.
He opened the way. Yeah,
he paved the way. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he created this new genre of comedy.
Yeah, because everyone started joking about their own families.
Yeah,
exactly. started joking about their own stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's relatable.
I'm going to ask you, in terms of growing your following, because I feel like everyone who does comedy in North America, your followings are usually like through the roof. Is it like people follow you, or do you go like follow me, or how does that happen? Like,
just buy followers, man.
Buy?
No.
Oh yeah, I've done that.
No, I
usually get those emails like on my Instagram. Do you want 10,000 followers? And then I click on their profile. No. They've got 2. I'm like, dude, grow your own following.
Take your own advice.
Yeah, why are you selling before you get anyone?
Amateurs, spam bots fucking piss me off.
Yeah,
but no, I think it is more common in North America. I don't know why, but it's just. People are more go-getters over there. They're more after it. They're the comedians especially, or entertainers in general. They are more driven to work hard and to build as much as they can.
Yeah.
Whether that's on socials, stand-up, acting, fucking whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think it's just a culture. It's
like
a culture.
Like a culture of... Because here the culture, people don't follow you unless otherwise.
No one gives a shit over
you. You know what I mean?
Completely...
Like, how many shows did we finish? And said, "Oh, follow us on socials." How many people?
Yeah,
how many
sure.
people came here? Yeah, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. All right, I have to go drink with my buddies, with my mates now.
And
So see you later.
Your name is easy to spell too. It's,
Right, man.
right?
Mine's hard compared to other people,
But mine.
but yours is fucked.
Yeah, because when people are spelling Tshaka, they just go SH. And
Right.
like, no, there's a T in front.
CSH.
So do you know how many followers I've lost? There's a Tshaka, fake guy.
Fake. Yeah, I
He's
knew it.
Is he Nigerian?
Yeah. This is his way of hacking into our phones. Fuck
exactly,
that guy.
right?
Yeah. No, yeah, it's interesting over here. It's so different. Like the amount of times, especially because sometimes it's weird when people come up to me after the shows and they're super down. They like, oh, we loved it. That was great. We laughed a lot.
Yeah.
You were the best. You were this.
Yeah.
And then when I tell them, oh yeah, like I'm actually doing my own show on this date, like in the city.
Yeah.
That you're from.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, okay, all right, yeah, see you later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's just on my Instagram. Like, if you want to
Yeah,
check,
just
and
follow
like,
on
and they're like,
Instagram.
yeah, for sure. They don't take out their phone. They just walk away.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no,
okay, cool. Just tell me you don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Or don't come up to me anyway.
Don't tell me.
Like you're not obligated to say you enjoy the show. But yeah.
Right,
like,
but I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're just not. I don't know. It's maybe they don't even think of it that way or whatever.
yeah,
whatever.
probably.
But in America,
it's just a form of like, I will just say thank you. And
just because
then,
it's polite
and
or
then,
something.
And then
whatever.
polite, yeah.
Sure, but in America, when people want to follow you, they'll follow you.
Yeah.
They'll come. Like I was in this place called Brea, in California.
Yeah.
This was like 3 years ago or 2 years ago. 2 years ago. I just did like a 5-minute spot in like a half empty room on a Tuesday night or some shit. I was one of the openers for this other guy who was headlining. After the show, this group of like 4 or 5 Latino women.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Latino people over there in that
I
area.
want to go to that place.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I love my Latinos.
Oh, buddy, you would thrive there.
With lots of kids. Like, I'll tell I'm going to
You
be
would have way too many kids.
I'll have the typical like children everywhere.
So the show finishes and we all come out to the back, and that's the thing too about a lot of American clubs and shows. They have really cool setups for people to meet and greet or like to take pictures. They have backdrops, right? Yeah. We're at the back now, waiting for people to file out, and pretty much most people came up. Hey, good job! Like that was great. Like where can we see you next? Blah blah blah. Regular. But then this group of Latino women, like they just saw me for 5 minutes, and they're like, "Oh my god! Like that was so funny! Like you're so amazing! Like please, like pull out all their phones.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram?
Yeah.
Put it in right now. Like they're like more forward about it.
Yeah.
It's just, and that happens more often. I think over here I have yet to feel that.
Yeah.
They're more just like, that was so funny. Like thank you so much. Like you're funny. Blah, blah, blah.
No
And,
follows.
Like, it's like no, they're not really trying to like go out of their way to follow you or like invest into you as a brand.
Yeah.
Or like as a comedian to like like give support to for the future.
Because I noticed like there's a lot of comedians who would even just say you organize a tour and people would be like, when are you bringing it to our city? You know, like in America, it's like, you've got followings that people have started following. And it's like, why are you not coming to our city? And you get a lot of people just, now you have to think of adding an extra city, and Abbas is one of those, like when he was doing his tour.
In Canada?
Wahab.
Yeah, Abbas, yeah.
And, like sometimes, because he comes on your feed and then go, oh, cool, like he's organizes tours.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you read the comments and people are like, yeah, you missed the city when you bring it. And that's amazing. Like
That's great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No one's gone like, can you bring your show to Perth?
Yeah, come to Canberra.
Yeah,
no, dude.
No. Like, there's
It happens way
like
less
that.
often, I think. Yeah. It happens, but less often, I guess. But like, and that's the thing. But that's why it's, in a way, it's a good thing because the people who are comedians here, it's up to them to build that culture.
Yeah.
Like, there's the opportunity. You got to take it and
enough.
fucking build the culture.
Yeah.
It's new, it's fresh. So in a way, it's a good thing. But obviously, in the moment, you're like, oh fuck, man, I wish it could be like this or this. But you can always, there's always something better that could be, right?
There could be, just like I feel like
embrace it.
though you don't want to pester people to follow you.
That's what I'm saying. It's also annoying and like
you know
pushy.
what I
Like
mean?
it's just kind of weak
Because
to
now
do that.
you look desperate.
Desperate as fuck. Yeah, it
it's
does.
like-
Yeah.
which we are. Cause,
Yeah.
But again, you it's like, follow me.
Please,
Yeah,
master.
please. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's a different culture. That's always been curious for me
Yeah.
too.
Right.
On the whole comedy from that part of the world, and it's something like I've said to you. I'd like to come and do a show out there.
Yeah, you should, man. There's so much opportunity out there.
And see how we go.
You mentioned we gotta talk about this real quick, but you talked about getting your master's in sports management.
Yeah.
What the fuck is all about? How did you get into that?
So I love money.
Okay, who doesn't?
And you know, I think after watching Jerry Maguire, I was like, cool.
Who's Jerry Maguire?
Jerry Maguire, the movie.
Jerry Maguire.
Yeah, Show Me the Money.
Oh, I've never.
Tom Cruise.
I've never seen that.
What the fuck are you talking about? You haven't watched Jerry Maguire?
Someone broke the
Sorry,
globe.
now you want me to break stuff in your house.
The Kenyan comes out. What's you mean you're not watching this?
Actually, that's a Nigerian accent,
no.
and we have to.
I do that for every African accent.
That's a very American thing. We don't all sound like that, okay? Even
What you mean you are not Nigerian?
when I hear, like, even other countries in Africa, when they hear Nigerian speak, it's like, come listen to this. Wait and be. It's like, what is he talking about?
That's so funny. And so I just think it's a running joke. I just do that for anyone who's African. I just do Nigerian. And they always say the same thing. It's like that's not my accent.
We'll come back to the question you asked, and that's why I didn't I in a way I never loved the movie Black Panther.
Because it's so generalized.
It's like the African people, hey, King T'Challa,
Wakanda forever.
Yeah, it's like fuck. We don't talk like that. And it was like, for me, I feel like it was a black movie for African Americans. It wasn't for black people across the globe because
interesting.
There was a lot of talk when they were doing the Black Panther that was going to be like they were going to speak Zulu and wherever, and Zulu people went and watched the movies like we didn't hear anything.
Oh, really?
Know? Yeah,
there's no Zulu.
There was no Zulu in.
Wait, Zulu is what? Indian language?
No, it's South African.
Oh, South African.
One of the South African languages, and so most of the time, like I watched the movie, I was proud of it from the directing to the costume to the movie itself and wherever it brought from, but it was never like a black in general movie. It was a black American kind of scenario movie. Like
it was like a Hollywood. It was
but it was more to give like I think African American the props or wherever, because we wanted it to be like if it was a proper black movie, you want someone in Africa to go like super proud of it. And not saying we didn't love it.
Right, but
we loved the movie, but it wasn't for us. It was for African Americans,
Like black people in America.
Yeah.
So most people in Africa probably you'd say
I mean, they
whatever
enjoyed the movie. They enjoyed the movie. It was amazing. It was awesome. It was a great movie, but it wasn't a representation of us. Well, as much as the joke right now goes, people who go like, yeah, Wakanda's in Africa, but, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. It was a good movie.
Right. This might sound ignorant, but are there a lot of places in Africa that have, like, movie theaters? I feel like they wouldn't.
Yeah, we do.
But, like, not all of them, obviously, because there's a lot of, like,
No, a lot of them. I feel like Africa gets portrayed Africa gets portrayed to the West in a Western way. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's striving, it's struggling. The people are
poor.
It's poor,
Droughts.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's good because then it's all
keeps people out.
Yeah, we keep people out. We get money, but
you get money.
Yeah, donations, World Vision.
Oh, right.
But it's no, Africa's like really developed. There are places you'd go, you wouldn't even know that you're there.
Really?
Yeah.
Like where? Like
Nairobi. If you go to Nairobi, if you go
Kenya?
to if you go to South Africa, Richard Branson has a house in Nairobi. That's how.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
That's how much you should know. Like, there's a lot of celebrities actually who have lots of
Land.
houses and mansions wherever in Africa
Wow.
in general. So cinemas are there. There's lots of good cinemas wherever. I wouldn't say it's
A common thing.
a common thing for people to go to theaters,
Right.
but people do go to theaters.
But do people watch movies in the house and stuff, or is that a
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
A common thing?
Yeah, common thing. But people still do out dates. You go out for dates to theaters, or if a good blockbuster is coming out and you want to watch it big screen, you'd go watch a movie in a theater. You know?
Okay.
So no, there is a lot. I feel like there is a very big misconception about what is. I remember when I came here, and a lot of people would be like, "Do you have houses?" I was like, the only difference between where Kenya and Australia is just the automatic doors. We don't have that. That used to be my response.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like, if you're gonna ask me an ignorant question, then I'm gonna give you an ignorant answer. No, lots of cool places, man. There's places you'd go, you'd be like, fuck me, like why are we not being shown this thing?
So, like, where, for example?
Yeah, like I said, Nairobi is a great city. Mombasa is a great city. Mombasa,
Where's that?
my hometown. It's in Kenya as
Oh,
well.
so you're saying all the Kenyan cities?
Kenyan cities, South African cities. You go to Rwanda. Rwanda is actually being termed as the Silicon Valley of Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, because
Really?
internet is super fast and everything.
What?
Like they're building like
In Rwanda?
Yeah, you go to Ethiopia. Ethiopia has got electric trains.
What?
Yeah.
Ethiopia?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So a lot of people
fuck?
would look
I had
at
no
those
idea.
places and go like, oh, it's such a poor country, but super developed. If you Google like sometimes or on your Instagram, and if you start following, they'll show you this is Africa, but this is also Africa. So they'll show you the poor parts, but they'll also show you the amazing other places that, you could go and just be like, I never knew Africa was like this.
Right.
No, it's very different.
Yeah, well, I know. Obviously, the northern Africa, like Morocco, is like super developed, and it's a very Middle Eastern type.
Yeah,
part of Africa.
South, east as well. It's pretty good, pretty developed.
East, well, Ethiopia, right?
Ethiopia, Kenya,
Eritrea, fucking
Tanzania.
Right, Tanzania is also like, is that a developed place?
It's developed to its own sense, so you can find the beauty of things in there, but it is a developed city as well.
What about like Congo and shit? Like, is that more like?
Yeah,
that's more like
Congo's a whole different.
That's more Africa.
That's crazy though.
Why?
Because the whole of it is just being controlled by Western interests and.
Right, the cobalt mining and shit.
Yeah, whatever we see is the mining and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean, it's developed in such a way, but because of the wars they've had there, it's not as developed, but it's not like you'd go there and culture shock will be there, but it's not like, oh my God, I'm gonna give all my money to everyone. There's such a big divide of poor people and super rich people.
And this is in every country in Africa, or you're saying more so just Congo?
Most African countries, the divide is there.
There's more of a divide
big
in all those countries.
Yeah,
right.
There's a big divide in that.
Interesting. What would you say is like the best? I mean, unbiased to Kenya. What is the best country in Africa to live in?
To live in.
What's the most optimal place to live in Africa for human beings, like to thrive or like just have a good life? From your experience,
outside Kenya. Because I look at it from very many facets for me. From the Kenyan perspective, I look at it from a political angle. Kenya is a safe country, and a lot
safe country.
Yeah.
What do you mean, like
we don't have civil wars and civil unrest and stuff like that. But at the same time, the politics of the country can be in such a way where like. The politicians do shit that you're just like, we shouldn't be doing this shit right now. We could do better. And the leaders know we could do better. So I look at it from very many aspects. I look at it from a political angle. I look at it from a safety angle. I look at it from economical angle. Can I go and start a business? Can I go and if I get sick, I can go to the doctors and get proper treatment and stuff like that.
And it's good there? Healthcare?
It's okay. If you have private health insurance, you'd be okay.
Oh, so it's like America where you need private health insurance.
But South Africa is another good place to go. You know, if you go to Cape Town, Cape Town's like an amazing city.
But it's dangerous as fuck over there.
Johannesburg probably
Joburg,
more.
yeah.
But Cape Town's, I feel like everywhere is crazy depending on where you position yourself. Right.
Yeah.
But South Africa would be a good place to be. Rwanda, definitely.
That's a surprise for me.
I would put Rwanda up there, like one of those countries that you could go and thrive. Ghana is good.
Oh, really? Ghana?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nigeria, definitely. Nigeria has got a high population.
My people.
It's crazy, but yeah. But Nigeria is great. Like if you have money and if you have business ideas, and because it's actually a city instilled with hustlers. Like for me, when a Nigerian person cons you and you get conned, like you can't hate the hustle. Like, you know, he's perfected the hustle. He's like, we're doing this. You know what I mean? It's my job to take your money. You know, but Nigeria is also a very positive country to live in, and
they're great people
and thrive. Yeah, they're great people. They're business acumen, the hustle is
food's
great.
Good too. I like the
good food is good. Women are great. I mean, if you have money,
they're gold diggers.
Yeah, it's not gold diggers. They
are gold diggers.
Nigerian men have a way of
swooning you.
Yeah, to an extent. Like if you don't have money, it's
they sweet talk their way in.
Oh, like I had the last time I was in Kenya and I was talking to this girl and she was like, we went to this club and this Nigerian man just saw my friend and liked my friend, and I was like, yeah, come sit with us. Come here. It's like whatever you're drinking, whatever you want, VIP. Like not just you and your friends, everything. Like they would shower you to an extent like, you know, if you come second and you meet this girl next week, the standard has been set.
The Nigerian has taken over.
The Nigerian has put a standard. So if you can't beat that, and I feel that women are that way as well. They've been pampered and catered for, and you know, spoiled to such an extent that if you can't match up that standard, then yeah, too bad.
And I know there's like a running joke that they are very expressive with their words too.
Oh yeah,
and like they're showing love, or like they're so dramatic.
It's very straight.
It's very straight to the point, but like it's dramatic. It's like, you know, your beauty is going to make my heart explode.
Oh,
you know, like shit like that. You know, and like.
In your eyes, I see the sun. Like I'm blinded right now, eh? You know,
you are so beautiful. I need to turn around.
Yeah, I kiss your lips and I'm tasting pepe. You know, it's amazing.
Your lips make me reminds of pepper soup.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I want to like they are very expressive and they're very direct.
Very direct.
And I feel like that is a very African thing, which is we're very direct. Like
we're very open and like not scared.
Yeah, if I like you, I like you. We're not gonna talk about the weather. Like over here, you like a girl, it's gonna be like, so it's kind of cloudy today, and then it's gonna take 5 weeks for them to actually be like.
Nigerians have 1 hour.
Oh yeah,
to get to the point.
You've heard those stories of I gave you my number. Why haven't you called me? You were supposed to call me yesterday. Why am I calling you 3 times? And you don't return my phone call. I cannot take this. If you're not interested, it's like that chick hasn't even spoken to you yet.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's just
she didn't know how to pronounce your name, brother.
She just gave you your number, like, you know. I was gonna take you to my mother, but now with all these games you're playing,
Jesus, this woman is not serious.
Oh, she's not serious, Now, if you don't call me tomorrow, I'm gonna block you. You know,
I'm going to take my SIM number out of my phone.
Yeah. You know, they're very expressive. And I feel like that's the same in Kenya. Like in Kenya, you go out and you meet a girl and you like, it's like, hey, I like you. Do you want to go out tomorrow or wherever?
That's what I like about Africans. is they're very to the point and they don't waste time.
No, but a lot of people don't know how to take it because that's a lot of pressure.
And it's funny, African women
Yeah,
with me,
yeah,
the exact same way. I think they love Middle Eastern men.
Yeah.
Because it's I don't know what it is, but I've noticed a trend like throughout my whole life.
Yeah.
The most interest I've ever gotten were from black girls.
yeah,
Especially African girls.
Yeah.
They love me.
Yeah.
Because one, I think they appreciate the humor.
yeah,
And they love to laugh, obviously, and they're just like they take life not seriously,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they enjoy life. And also, if you know a lot about their culture,
Yeah.
they fucking love it.
yeah,
And they're just wholesome. I don't know. I just feel like they're more wholesome.
yeah. We're just very direct people. We'll say what we want, you know. I remember, like, in Kenya, like, you could meet someone today, and if you have a good vibe, you'd be like, I'm going to date you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
And that's not a scary thing. For them, it's like, all right, cool, we'll see. We're vibing right now, but now I know where you at, and I know what you want, and we'll see if this is going to happen. While over here, you know, someone's going to call the police on you. You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
I know.
Motherfucker, this guy's weird as fuck.
What do you mean you want my number?
Yeah,
What?
He just met me and he wants to date me. Like, what? Like,
Ew,
yeah,
creep.
you know what I mean? There is that. You know, it's like, oh, he doesn't even know me, and now it's yeah. But anyway,
I love the creepers.
yeah.
And that's the other thing too. Whether it's Nigerian or anyone in Africa, the women, those type of women have complimented me the most out of any other woman in the world. Black women,
Yeah,
African women,
Yeah.
have given me the most compliments out of any other woman in the world.
because we love compliments is our thing. I was talking to an Aussie girl one time, and she's just a friend, and I was like, oh, you know, why is it like when you give an Australian woman or a white woman, and it's, I'd say Australian,
Yeah.
because, you know,
I think it goes both with Canada too, man.
no,
America
but
as well.
like it's gonna be different because in the UK and in the US, like, I feel women are used to being hit on so hard, so fast.
Sure, yeah,
That
more.
compliments are just a compliment. Like, no one reads into it. No one's going like, oh my God, he said he likes my dress, which means he wants to fuck me. You know what I mean? Like,
You don't think that it's like that here?
I think it's like that here.
Oh,
Where-
because it's so weird.
it's so weird to give someone a compliment. And she's white. And I was like, why is it like Australian women can't just take a compliment? And I mean, if you're watching this and you're Australian, it's not a blanket
No,
statement.
I'm telling you right now, no Australian white woman is watching this podcast.
You know, yeah. Oh, my Middle Eastern women. Ooh.
Only the wogs are watching.
You know,
this.
but yeah, why don't I get love from wogs though? Like Middle
don't?
Eastern women, no.
You
Like,
don't get love from Middle Eastern women?
No, I've never.
I know what it is. I think it's because it's a cultural thing.
Yeah,
They it's almost like shunned on them from a young age.
Yeah,
Of like
don't-
date within your race.
don't go with niggas.
Well, I didn't say it.
I'm just saying it for you.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking about. All right. No.
Hey, I'm not gonna say it's wrong because
Yeah.
it is. There's some truth to that. It's just that, yeah, it's a cultural thing that they kind of been told. The women specifically, growing up for some reason. But like really with like other races too, though. It's not just black people. It's like even Asians or like whatever. It's like if you're Arab, fucking date Arab.
Yeah.
If you're Persian, typically Persians are a little more lenient. I think they don't really care as much, but still a little bit of judgment if for certain people. But I think Middle Easterns, they more so go for Middle Eastern. But then again, you can say that about fucking any race. Like Asians, Chinese people, rarely date outside of their race.
100%.
Indians, no one's dating outside of their race, pretty much.
I'd love some Karen, bro. Like, you know, like
curry's great.
Yeah, and I know, but it's Middle Eastern. I don't even think of seeing interracial Middle Eastern couple.
No, you rarely. I've never seen a Persian girl with like a black guy.
Yeah.
I know one actually.
Yeah,
But like,
but
rare.
the opposite works. Like you would see
Like
a
a
lot of Persian guys
Arab
with black girls.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that more.
Yeah.
Or with white girls.
Yeah.
More or
Yeah.
the European.
Yeah,
Yeah, but more white. But you never see like Persian with Asian.
I'd love to date. I'd love to date like a Middle Eastern woman.
I love to date anything.
Right. At this point, yes. I know, but
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's I think it's just like a uncommon. It's a rarity because it's just not culturally a thing.
yeah,
it is. There obviously are people like that.
Yeah.
That do date like that, but it's just not a common thing. You know? I don't think in general, like the only common interracial couples you see are white and black.
White and black, yeah.
That's the most like regular thing to this day for me. Even for me, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like, but other ones, I'm always like, oh wow, look, it's a fucking Indian guy with a black girl.
It's a unicorn thing.
It's weird, right? Even to this day, I'm like, oh wow, like Asian. Actually, white guy, Asian girl is also another common one. More than the rest of them, but not as much as white and black.
I feel like the white man Asian girl is
that's a weird one.
It's a visa thing.
Well, but I don't know. It's some weird like both sides. It's like a fetish thing, or like a weird like I don't know what I think. I told him earlier. I was like it's something about it just rubs me the wrong way.
For me, I just feel like it's still
it's like a superiority thing in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
they're both superior.
The fact
and they're looking down on us.
White and black is the same.
Well, yeah.
I find there's a white superiority thing.
No, but I think the black one is white guilt.
Yeah,
to make the black feel superior.
Yeah,
I think it's
just
more
for a
like,
minute.
Just for a minute. Yeah. And then when there's problems, hey, remember?
Yeah. Don't bring that shit here. Just because I let you do it one time.
Yeah. You better calm the fuck down.
Yeah. No. But interracial dates are pretty interesting. Yeah. Going back to your initial question, doing my master's in sports.
Totally forgot what we were talking about. How the fuck did we get on this topic?
I don't know how we got
from
to this.
Sports management.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think. Oh, you're talking about was Jehovah's Witness? Fucking Jeremy Maguire.
Oh yeah, Jeremy.
Who the fuck is Jeremy Maguire?
We went from Jeremy Maguire to dating
to Nigerian men doing compliments. What is wrong with you, woman?
Jeremy Maguire is like it's a very good sports film. It's with Tom Cruise, and he's a sports agent.
Oh, okay. So, like football?
American football, yeah.
Okay.
And so his client is Cuba Gooding Jr. And so he used to work for a big farm, and then he decided doesn't want to do that anymore. He wants to go out on his own. And then he represented Cuba as his only client. And I think that's where the story is, and the struggles for it. But he's also, Cuba's a good player, and Tom Cruise is a good agent, and they kind of have a bonding wherever. And I think the most famous line in that is, when he's signing. Was he signing Cuba Jr. at that point where he goes like, "Show me the money"? But that's like the most famous.
Show me the money. I have heard of
the money. Yeah,
I heard that line before. I just don't know where it's from.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He's on the phone with. I think they were about to sign a big contract. It was just show me the money.
Who's saying that? Cuba or the
Tom Cruise? I think was Tom Cruise was the one saying.
Show me the money like that.
Yeah. But it's such a good movie. You should watch it, man.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
I will, yeah.
But the reason I got into that is I enjoy sports. I enjoy watching sports. I enjoy learning about agents who make money from sports. But for me, that movie was one of the things that the relationship between an agent and a client that you're representing, and I wanted to do that. And then when I started doing comedy, it was like, well, for me it works as well because a lot of people, I tell them, eventually when I finish, I want to become an agent, but then they go like, how's that connected to comedy? And it's like, well, sports are played during the day, and comedies for the most part is an hour. You go out and you do an hour, you do 2 hours, and then you're done for the day. So if I'm representing someone who's traveling around, it also gives me comedy to do around the world. And so for me, they work not in competition, but together. So I can spend the day, we can go and do all the sports shit. And in the evening, I can go do comedy, and then I can come back and do whatever books that needs to be done. So that was the reason for choosing to do sports.
And so what's your goal out of it? You actually would like, what's your ideal scenario with sports management?
Get a couple of sports people, start my own sports farm.
Sports firm?
Yeah. Like as an agency.
Oh, agency?
Yeah.
So you want to be an agent?
I want to be an agent, yeah.
Professional sports?
Yeah, for professional
Which
sports.
sport?
I want any sport that has got crossover. So I don't want to do a sport that is one-dimensional. So I wouldn't do AFL because then that's just Australian. I want a sport like soccer that then you can take someone who can play in Australia and they can play in England and they can play in Pakistan and they can play in Kenya. You know what I mean? So sports that have got crossover and they can go to any countries, those are sports I want to do. So soccer is one, or football. Football. It is football.
Yeah,
football. Athletics. We've got
like Olympics, like
athletics runners. Yeah, 100
meter
marathon runners.
Oh, marathon.
Well, I'm gonna get them from Kenya. You know what I mean? Like. Gotta start from a place you know.
Yeah, you can't do it, but you know a lot of people who can do it.
Oh, I know a lot of people who can do it, but I feel so. And the other reason, now that we brought that up, the other reason is I feel a lot of people who are not Kenyan as sports people or as agents, they use the Kenyan sports people. So if you look at, say, by the time LeBron James retires from basketball,
which will be never.
I mean, whatever. But if
this guy's never gonna retire,
if he does retire, he still has a job as a sportscaster
easily,
because that's what his agent is gonna kind of package him for, right? And you get a lot of. How many marathon runners have you had presenting in the Olympics? You know what I mean?
Never.
Because all these agents are white agents. They come there. Cool, we'll use you. You'll go, you'll run, we'll make money. Because at the end of the day, the way they also treat them, I find it to be like disgusting.
Why?
Because they would be like, cool, we paid for your airfare, we did this. So if someone has won, say, we'll use a rough figure. I'm not saying that that's the correct figure. So say they've won $20,000, then they'll be, you stayed at a hotel that cost us this much, and we did training, and we pay this, and we pay that, and we pay that. So you're only going home with like $2,000. You know what I mean? Which is kind of crazy. So a lot of athletes, especially Kenyan athletes, who were at the height of their careers, you can never see it in their financials. While if you compare it to the Western world, a lot of those, someone would be like, they would have won 2 marathons. That's it. And they would still be able to live comfortably because then, they've got agents who give them like, all right, cool, you finished your career, you can work for one of the TV stations and you could be a sportscaster, you could do this and you could do that and you could do that. So there's a lot of longevity. So the reason I want to do it is I want to revolutionize the way agents are seen in Kenya and actually give sports people in Kenya that, longevity. Like you're not just, if you bust your knee tomorrow, but you've been winning the last 5-6 years, we've invested your money in such a way that you still have a life. We can look for ways for you to still be relevant in the sport without you doing the sport itself. And that's been my reasoning for starting sport.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So you want to almost provide different paths
for
the athletes afterwards, not just during.
Not just during, and also making it a thing that younger people can look at and be like, that guy's actually rich and all he did was run. Because a lot of kids, we're talking about immigrant parents, you still have your 5 careers because they don't see it either. They don't see sports people as a job. They look at it as like, oh, you want to go play football, eh? I'm paying all this money and you're just going to play. You know what I mean? While if there is examples for their children to be like, oh, that football player, yeah, he's Kenyan and he's living life, and the parents can see it as, another avenue instead of just telling your kids you need to go to uni, and be like, actually, you can, if you're good at it, like what you're saying, the parents can double down. It's like, all right, cool, we'll find an academy for you, you play, we'll still make you go to school, but we'll make sure you get into this. I think that's a pathway that I want to showcase that it can happen, but it has to happen with someone who's got the athlete's interest at heart.
And you're saying you want to do this just in Kenya?
No, I'll do it all over the world, but that's the starting point.
No, like you find the athletes in Kenya.
In Kenya.
And then we work on bringing them international.
Yeah, making them international, but setting up the organization, have a branch in Kenya that people can see as well, and not just take them out and be like, you can go and run somewhere else and lose your citizenship. No, be Kenyan, be proud Kenyan, but also showcase that I'm making it from this. So anyone else can use it as an example and be like, he never left the country, he never ditched the country, he lived a good life, his kids are having a good life just from sport, and we want to be that. And I want to shine that light.
Yeah, you want to represent for your culture, your people,
My
to
culture,
show
my
that
people,
to show that it is possible to go down this career path and make a living out of it and comfortably as well.
Yeah. And start there, but obviously do it Africa-wide and however big it's going to be. But start from the African perspective, because I feel the African athletes is being disrespected for the most part.
Really?
Yeah, in terms of what we're just talking about, like they don't get proper representation to move on beyond, where they could be, where the potential for them to be outside of sport and be like, well, cool, he's like, how many Africans do we know are in any sport hall of fame?
I was actually going to say, like, I can't even think of who's like the most popular African athlete.
Kipchoge Keino.
Never heard that in my life.
Long time ago. Used to be like marathon runner in Kenya.
Right.
Always won, like, I think he still has left the best records wherever. But I don't know if he's in any Hall of Fame. David Rudisha, 800 meters, broke his own records a couple of times. You know what I mean? But you don't hear of him nowadays. And those are the people who should be like, whenever anyone talks about like 800 meters, he should be like, he's the expert. He did it, broke his own record wherever. If you're looking at America, you've got, was it Michael Johnson? And now, after he quit the 100 meters, 200 meters, he's a sportscaster. I mean, he might have retired by now,
right.
But you know what I mean? But there was that longevity in their careers beyond being on the fields.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I never actually thought about that. There's not much representation.
No. Look at Kanu.
Who?
Kanu, Nigerian football player.
Kanu?
Kanu.
That's his name? Kanu?
Yeah. Nwankwo Kanu.
What team does he play for?
He used to play for Nigeria, and then he played for Ajax. He played for Arsenal.
Oh, so like EPL, like in the Premier League.
In the Premier League,
okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, I mean, he made money, and in Nigeria.
Oh, are you talking about Sadio? No, sorry.
I mean, Sadio Mane is still playing,
Mane,
but but it's what happens to them after they finish playing.
Yeah, that's the part that you're trying to focus on.
That is the part that is, for me, needs to be changed, to give them more like, you finished playing, now you can work for, ESPN as a sportscaster, because you've got the wherever. Now, because it's from an African country, if we flip it to an African who's doing that is Thierry Henry. You know what I mean? But again, people will say he's French. You know what I mean? So then why is it other people can do it and not actually African athletes who should be able to do it?
Yeah, that's interesting. And so do they have sports broadcasts in Africa? Like a ESPN or... I don't know.
They would do so. I think one of the biggest sports broadcaster would be South Africa. So they would have some of the, and that's why South Africa is developed in a completely different way. They've their sports and their sports people are different, and I'm sure like in Nigeria or in Kenya, like there are those areas where these people have reached, but then it's regional instead of it being actually global, because they didn't play on a regional scale, they played on a global scale. So we need to put them on a global scale.
Do you think there's a lot of people like you who are doing this in Africa?
I think there are people like me who've studied the sport, but then, it's putting in the work and finding the backing and the finances to do it. And I think that's where the big problem is going to come from, like finding the backing and the money to do it and being able to grow into it. I think a lot of people do careers or study something and not get into the career because it's too hard to get into. And then you just drop it.
Yeah, because I feel like most people, even if they were like you or someone from Africa who's going to study these things, they eventually the market they go to is US.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's where everything is the best, is most international, or even Europe, right? For like soccer, like football and shit like that. So it's interesting to know that you want to do that in Africa, because I feel like Africa is such a big ass country.
It is.
Imagine like
continent.
Continent. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
But it's such a big continent that it almost is surprising how there isn't more.
I know, and I feel like that just comes to. I know as Africans we blame the West for a lot of stuff, but I feel like we can because of taking too much, But on the flip side of it, I feel like it's been many years right now, so Africans need to start taking charge of their own shit and being like, we can do this. You know what I mean? We don't have to go anywhere else. Because, like most of the good sports people come from Africa. We know all the minerals come from there. We know there's a lot of oil. So there is a lot of power in, if ever Africa got to unite to be its own superpower, which is what Western countries don't want for that to happen. But it doesn't have to be all of it at once, but we can start. We can start by just going like, cool, this is what we have. Start with the small industries and change those industries, and then bit by bit find people who are like-minded like you and come together and do it together and do. The problem is everyone so wants to be the leader of something instead of just trying to put in the work and be straightforward with it instead of being corrupt with it. Yeah,
that's facts.
Yeah.
What's some of your favorite Kenyan cuisines and also foods and also African in general?
Africa is hard because 53 countries I haven't tested all the foods.
Well, I mean, whatever. I guess you've had.
Oh, Kenyan food is amazing, man.
What is it? I've never had Kenyan.
And Kenyan food, again, in Kenya, for example, there's 43 tribes in Kenya.
That's so many.
And every tribe has got their own main foods.
That's something that always baffles my mind.
You know what I mean?
And that's just Kenya.
Yeah.
There's fucking all these other...
Nigeria's got 150 cultures within itself.
That's
you know what I mean? So
how's that even possible?
Yeah. And every place... So you have the main foods. So like Nigeria, you'd have your fufu, your...
Jollof rice.
Your jollof, your whatever's. Kenya, you have a dish called ugali, which is made... Ugali. It's made from corn flour.
Okay. And that's big in Africa. A lot of people use corn flour.
So it's like, corn flour is like really big.
Yeah, even Ethiopians for injera, they use the bread thing or whatever.
Yeah, so it's called ugali. You've got, because Kenyan culture, especially from where I come from, which is the coast, there was a lot of intermarriages and interactions with a lot of foreign people because we are on the coast. So there's a lot of...
Oh, you're on the coast of the sea?
Yeah.
Wait, where? In the east?
In the east, yeah.
Beside Ethiopia?
Beside Ethiopia, beside Somalia. So we're just below that. And there was a lot of... so Kenya, we had a fort that was built by the Portuguese, was...
Portuguese is fucking going everywhere.
Yeah. Conquered by the Omani.
Oman? The Middle Eastern country?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
Why? It's so random.
And then there was a lot of Indian culture. So
there's a lot of Indians in Kenya.
So Kenyan culture, I wouldn't say Kenyan culture, don't cancel me Kenyans. Like the coastal culture, our foods are very...
Like Middle Eastern and
Middle
like
Eastern,
Portuguese and shit?
Yeah. Middle Eastern, Indian, there's a whole variety of it. So... the pilafs and the biryanis, it's those are dishes I grew up with and never even thought of them as Indian dishes or whatever because we cook them anyway. The chapatis, the whatever, we had them.
What's chapati?
Paratha.
Oh, is that an Indian thing too?
Yeah,
That's the fucking...
like the naan.
Oh, yeah, the puffy one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we grew up eating those anyway. So we've got that. But when it comes to favorite dishes, I would say, I don't know. I'm good with any dish. I love the jollof. So,
jollof rice.
I love fufu. Fufu is basically like ugali for me in Kenya, so it's kind of the same.
And what's ugali? What is it?
Corn flour. So it's the same as fufu. It's just the same. But so fufu is made from yam.
Yeah, yam.
And then ugali is made from corn, but it's the same thing.
But then what are you scooping it with? Like, I mean, what do you scoop? Soup, right?
We do soups, curry soups, kale, which over here is considered superfood. In Kenya is considered you don't have money food. You know what I mean? I don't have money. So Kenyans are superpower. Because we've been eating that superfood for forever.
Years.
Like your dad is like, we don't have money. Oh, go get kale.
Don't worry.
Right? Yeah. Like, so... when I came here, it's like a superfood. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm Superman.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, so veggies, curries, meat. Every African culture is big on meat. Like barbecue meat is everywhere. Like we do love our roast meats and stuff like that.
Baby. What's like some of the best?
Goat.
Goat?
Kenyan goat? Oh my God, shit.
Goat curry.
Like there's places people just go to eat goat. Like that's just like a weekend thing. It's like,
what do you mean, like a sanctuary of
like
goat meat?
It's a suburb. It's called
Kitengela in Kenya.
In Kenya, where is like Maasai people.
Maasai.
The Maasai. It's a tribe.
Yeah.
But they make the best meat, and so everyone just goes to eat meat over there. So
what do you mean? Like it's like a fucking like a market or like someone's house? Like
no, it's like just the market. It's like a market, but
a dedicated guy who just cooks in his
just
backyard.
Different people doing the same thing, but it's just it's just a vibe.
It's more of like a kind of like a carnival.
Yeah,
where people just go to this place.
And just eat. So
they pay money, right? Like
you pay. You still pay. Yeah. It's crazy though.
But it's not. It's probably cheap. Is it?
Kenya is not as cheap though. Kenya is pretty expensive.
Like, what do you mean? What's your representation of expensive over there?
So if I buy an iPhone here for say like $2,000, convert it to Kenyan money, you'd still be paying about $2,000 for the same phone.
What?
Yeah, like things are expensive. Rent is pretty much the same. So depending on where you live, though. So if you go to Kenya and an apartment like this, like you could easily be paying like same amount in Kenyan shillings. $1,700 for
a month.
It could be the month, could actually even be less than a month. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Shit.
So there's some things that are expensive and there's some things that are pretty cheap. So life is not as cheap, but still you can still find all your conveniences and stuff. But food is amazing anywhere. Some places you'd have to like get used to the food. Like when I was in Egypt, it was great. Like I love the street food in Egypt. You know what I mean?
It's great, yeah.
It was amazing.
Cuisine's amazing.
I had this taxi driver was like, I'm going to take you out for dinner today. I was like, yes. I just went to a market and just sat out at the market. I was traveling from Canada actually at that point, and I had a lot of other Canadian people. We'd stopped in Egypt for like 2 days. And I was like, I'm off to see the pyramids. And they're like, oh my God, you get kidnapped. It's like, dude, I am so Kenyan. They'll give me back. They'll be like,
we don't want this guy.
I'm from Kenya. No. Because the Kenyan government is not negotiating for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. Hell no.
Why?
They don't. They just don't.
They don't give a shit?
And that's why I was saying when you talk about which places would I go to live, like it's very different because if I got kidnapped here as an Australian, Australia would be like, yeah, you need to let him go. We'll pay. Kenya's like, yeah,
on his own now.
Yeah. Can you give us his name? We'll call his parents.
Actually, we found out that he likes to sit on his couch.
Oh yeah, in fact, he's
and
not
relax.
even Kenyan anymore. You know, it's just it's not our problem.
Hello, this is his dad.
Yeah.
I hate that he's relaxing.
Oh yeah. It's like, hello, we have Tshaka over here. Yeah, where is it? No, he's not Kenyan.
What?
Yeah.
He was 40th on the list?
I know.
Nah.
Yeah.
He used to be number one.
Yeah, so we don't like some of those things would give me pause about where to live and stuff like that. But Kenya would not negotiate for you, 100%. You know, the amount of Kenyans who've gone to work in the Middle East and suffered horrible like injustices, and the government doesn't say anything. You know, because politicians would be given money and be told to shut up.
That's wild, man.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about your culture?
Fun. We're fun-loving people. We smile even when things are hard, you know. And again, I wouldn't put it as necessarily just my culture, just put in an African context, and that's why like. Even when you see on Instagram pictures of kids who are looking dirty as fuck but still smiling, it's just like we just are happy because we don't take everything too seriously. We're just like, oh, cool, that has happened. Well, cool, life happens, move on. You know, we don't overthink stuff, because I tell a lot of white friends, it's like everyone's got problems. So the fact that you'd sit here and think you've got bigger problems than everyone is insane for me, because you're going through something, someone else is going through something. We have this saying in Kenya where, like, if you put everyone's problem in one pile, you just pick up your own problems again. Because now you start realizing, like, what was I complaining about? That guy's got problems. You know what I mean? Like, I was complaining about that guy.
Right.
Ooh. But then that guy would still, you know, get up in the morning, he'd smile, he'd have to go and do whatever he has to do. So I feel we're a very friendly people. If you go to Kenya, you're going to have fun, 100%. We love fun, we love drinking, we
I can tell. Yeah.
We
love your beer, bro.
Oh, dude.
The amount of beer bellies I've seen?
People drink, though.
Holy.
You know, a lot of people go like, oh, Australia is a drinking country. Go to Kenya. Even Germany, like, they drink, but there are people who drink in Kenya, man.
That's wild.
Last time I was on holiday, I would not answer my phone. Because, like,
Hammered.
I'm on holiday.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I'm on holiday, and I'll be like,
My body is on holiday.
I need a break.
Yeah.
There's this time I go out with my cousin, and we just drink. And we, you know, it's a Monday. I'm like, dude, you know, you've got work on Tuesday. This is 3:00 in the morning. It's like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We go home, we sleep. I think we leave the club at about 4:00. 3:30, my cousin's calling. It's like, where are we catching up? Dude, we were out until 3:00. Did you even go to work? Yes, like, I'm calling you from work.
What?
You know, where we and that is every day. Like,
Oh my God. That's way too much.
ooh, man.
I can't handle that.
Yeah, I needed
done.
a break. I got a
Yeah.
break. I was like, no, just give me time.
Please.
Just
I need some time.
Yeah, I need
I'm gonna
to
cry.
because it's crazy. I came back here, and I couldn't get drunk for a long time
Why?
because I was too full. Like, my levels of
Your intolerance is
my
super
intolerance
high.
had gone super high.
Oh.
Like, people, drink. And anyone in Kenya, for example, I know they do that in South Africa and Nigeria. People don't buy, like, you don't go into a bar and go like, can I get a shot of whiskey? It's like, bottle. Give me a bottle.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Y'all don't play around.
No, they don't. They don't. Like, that for me is a very good aspect of Kenyan culture. They're very educated as well. A lot of sharp people come from Kenya.
Short?
Sharp.
Oh, sharp.
Like, intelligent. Very driven. So a lot of people, like, you know, if the government could invest more in its people, there'd be a lot of successful, and a country would be thriving. The fun aspect of it is just off the hook. The women are amazing. And yeah, food for me is definitely comes down to food. Anywhere I go, like, if I'm in love with the food, I'm in love with the culture straight away. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Nice.
Well, that's dope, man. I appreciate you coming on, bro.
No,
Means a
thank
lot.
you, man. Thanks for having me.
Great chat. Great chat.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, of course.
It's been great. Looking forward to 5th of May. You sure?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it 5th? 5th
Yeah,
is
5th,
on
right?
a Saturday?
Sunday.
Okay. Cool. During the day?
No, 7 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun, man. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. And if you have anything to your socials, if you want to just plug your socials right there.
Yeah. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Tshaka Comedy, and it is TSHAKA comedy. And that is on everything, like my Instagram, my Facebook, and stuff, and all that. And doing a show in July called Black Lives Matter. So hoping to see you guys there. It's gonna be a great show. All black comics, and yeah, it's gonna be great.
So that's because you're doing Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah.
I remember I thought on the last show we did together last week when you said it on stage, but
Yeah.
I heard you say Black Lives Matter,
No,
and no one reacted.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
you named your show Black Lives Matter. I'm like, it's kind of like, it just threw me off. I was like,
Yeah.
why did you name it Black Lives Matter? Because all these people were white.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't react, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh fuck,
Yeah.
like
Nah.
they didn't give a fuck.
No, we don't care about your
Yeah,
lives.
yeah.
All lives matter.
Yeah.
All our lives matter.
Yeah. No,
Nah.
but Black Lives Matter is funny. So I guess to end it, just tell me a joke, man. No, I'm kidding. No, imagine. I was like,
So,
all right, man. Thanks, bro.
nah,
Appreciate
thanks for
it.
coming, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
I really
dog.
appreciate it. Love
Shout
it.
out Kenya.
See ya, man.
Ugali.
See ya, Iran. We'll see you someday.
Yeah.